Welcome back to Living Local. Americans are living longer than ever, and that's drawing more attention to how we're accommodating these longer lifespans. One aspect is to consider is creating a home environment that offers safety, comfort, and barrier-free living. And joining us in studio is Jay Pettit, with realtor with Mel Foster Co. and a builder with Hazelwood Homes. Thank you so much, Jay, for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Brandy. Nice to see you.
So we're hearing more about the aging in place and universal design. What does that mean?
Well, universal design is kind of a generic term. It's been around for a long time. What it really means is designing our world to accommodate all people, right? Universal, obviously. And so whether you or a family member has some physical limitations, maybe from birth or from a bad accident, or or maybe you or a family member was an injured veteran, or whatever you may be, you're looking for solutions, creative solutions to make life easier, And so the one thing that kind of comes into play for all of us is we're all getting older. Right? And our parents are getting older, and our grandparents are getting older, and so that's the one that hits everybody no matter what. And so that's kind of where aging in place comes into play, And so you do things like when you're building a home, try to eliminate steps, in and out of the house, making things just simple solutions for things that make life easier for people. Things like that.
So how do builders work with homeowners as far as like getting? Because, you're thinking wider hallways, appliances that are more accessible, right? Because
exactly
you don't think about, even countertops, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the whole trick. You try to make it so that when you walk into a home, people don't even notice that there's these accommodating features, And a lot of times you make the hallway maybe 4 inches wider in order to make the doorways that much wider in order to accommodate a walker or a wheelchair if that ever happened, and things like accommodating having lever door handles. It's one of the things that you don't even think about. But for people like my father-in-law, who's had a wrench in his hand his whole life, and now the arthritis is a very painful thing. So that's a huge thing for somebody like him. And so we don't think about these things until sometimes it's too late.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking. Doorknobs and things like that.
You find creative solutions to kind of make life easy for people, and you always want to be thinking ahead.
Yeah. So how does a home have to be on a slab? As far as when we're considering steps, to get in or out?
I get that question a lot, and people who are saying, well, this is going to be my forever home. This is the last home. I don't want to have any steps, so I'm not going to have a basement. And we say, well, back it up for a second. You can do a no-step entry home and still have a basement. It just really takes a little, again, getting back to the whole creativity. We figure out ways to maybe raise the garage floor in order to make it flush with the floor of your home and be able to eliminate those barriers getting in and out of the house.
Definitely. So what makes now a good time to consider, building a new home?
Sure. Well, everybody's talking about the low interest rates.
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious. And a lot of people have, at some point in their life, had it in the back of their head that they'd like to build a home. And so now seems to be a great time because money is really, really cheap. The hidden part of that people don't always think about is it's also really easy to sell your home right now. Right, so if you have your home priced correctly and you're working, with a good realtor who's going to market the home for you, that home should sell pretty quickly, and so that gets rid of another big barrier to, it's not so scary to be building a home because you'll be able to sell your house a little bit easier.
Definitely. So, as far as new construction, what's available in our area?
In our area, there's some builders focus on the spec homes, where they'll build a home and design it themselves and then put it up for sale. So then you kind of got a ready-built home for you. There's all kinds. There's stick-built. There's prefabricated homes. There's some builders that focus more on the condo villa type homes, kind of trying to again, create solutions for people that are getting into that older age of life where they want things to be really easy, and not have to take care of their lawn and those kind of things anymore. What we focus on at my company, Hazelwood Homes, is we do the custom home build where people, well, they'll find a lot where they want to build their home, and then they'll come to us and they'll want to talk about, okay, these are the things that we want in a home, and we try to work together to, you know, you have your budget and you have your time frame and you have the features and the size of the home that you want, and you got to try to put it all together.
Yeah, and that's where you come in.
That's exactly right. Yep.
You know, your experience, and you, like you say, hey, what about countertops? Let's think about that. Let's think about doorknobs and wider hallways. Yeah.
We've seen some things that work and we've seen some things that don't work, and so we try to help people, you know, kind of guide you in a direction so that, you know, you're going to be really happy when it's time to move in.
So for somebody considering buying a new construction home, how long should they expect the building process to take? I guess weather always depends.
Yeah, everybody always has everybody always has their little, you know, the weather and, you know, the fudge factor parts of it. It's two parts, right? So the part of actually building the home is pretty much it's a science, you know. From the day you start, you have a certain schedule that you keep to on when everything is supposed to take place. So that part is kind of like clockwork. The planning part is different for everybody. You know, we've had people that they come in and they have an idea of what they want for a home, and they'd like to start next month, you know, and they want to be in as soon as possible.
Right.
You know, but we have some people that we've worked with where they'll come see me, and then we won't actually start their house until 7 years later. You know,
oh, goodness, really?
And it becomes quite a process, and, you know, there's no right or wrong answer. Probably 1 month or 7 years, maybe would either too short and too long. Somewhere in between might be nice.
Okay.
But
all right. So, what other advice would you give to somebody considering planning for the future when they're building?
I would say start early on the planning process. You know, again, 7 years or 6 years is probably a little too long. But, you know, a year or so of saying, well, let's kind of work through what's available to us and make sure that we really are working hard to make sure that our budget is where it needs to be, and that we're thinking of all the different factors. You know, and you start early on that planning process, you know, because there's no sense rushing through. It's a pretty big decision for most people, so it's kind of an important deal.
Yeah, and a lifelong decision.
It is, yep, it is, and you want to have all your ducks in a row.
Definitely. Well, some good advice there, Jay. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. And if you want more information, you can visit RealtorJayPettit.com, and we'll also have those details posted on ourquadcities.com.